Welcome back to Melodic Memories of Lights Monarch. I'm Casey, and I do have a lot to talk about, like my trip I just took and a few other things, but first, I need to touch on the iHeartRadio and Juno Awards. They just passed. I know the Juno Awards aren't necessarily that big for people outside of Canada, but it is something for us Canadians, our Canadian award show, and I didn't watch it myself, but I've heard great things from it, some good turnarounds and turnouts, and Rush even made a surprise performance. Their first ever song on their first album, they played it live, and apparently Mark Carney was there as well, our Prime Minister, which is absolutely wild. I don't know if that's really ever happened before for a Prime Minister to show up at a music award show, but hey, Mark Carney is breaking boundaries as always. Great to see. Great to see more music love, not just in the sense of the music audience, but also just as a country. Being proud of the musicians and artists within our home country. It's nice to see as a Canadian. And that's not to put any other award shows to shame by any means. It's just nice to see the support that the country has for our artists and musicians. It's nice. And as for the iHeartRadio Awards, again, didn't really watch it either, which is why I'm kind of high level talking about it, but I seen 21 Pilots. They won their Alternative Music Award for Artist of the Year, for Alternative Artist. And that's always a nice thing for a band to win. Like, 21 Pilots obviously most certainly deserved. They came off an incredible run. They just released Clancy, with the next year bringing out Breach, going on so many tours all across the States, parts of Canada, as well as other places in the world. And now they've got like a festival run for all festival runs. They said it would be small, but they've got like 50 plus. So it's absolutely wild to see what they're doing and to see them get some recognition, at least in one sense. It's nice. And I gotta say, I'm very proud that they were able to win that, let alone Taylor Swift. She blew the award show out of the water. Her and Travis Kelce were a very big star point of the iHeartRadio Awards for what I seen online. And I mean, it's Taylor Swift. I don't really need to touch too much on that, but she just once again being inspiring to the people that she loves, the people that love her, constantly an inspiration. And it's nice to see, especially after this album, just feeling the way that I personally felt about it. I don't believe it deserved every single award it won, but hey, it is Taylor Swift, and hopefully it just means that there is meaning for that album, for her and her fans amongst everyone else. Like, I know me personally, it felt a little bit immature of an album, but again, it is Taylor Swift. She has the depth to be more emotional. She has the depth to be more mature. And I know some people might fight me on that here and there, but that is just my opinion. I personally like her older music. And with this new album, it's nice to see that she won some awards. And I just hope that it pushes her to be better next time. I know that it kind of contradicts that. Like, if you win an award for something that so many people deemed mediocre by her standards, that it just, I don't know, it makes me think that maybe the next album will be more of this. If she's making more music, who knows? I mean, it's Taylor Swift. I don't think she'll ever quit, but it's going to be interesting to see where she goes from here, because it's definitely the turning point into something new, something different, and at least she's happy, and you can see it through and through any time she talks. So it's great to see. Happy for her, happy for 21 Pilots, and of course to any other artists that won the Junos, that won at the iHeartRadio Awards. Congratulations. Any award just being recognized for your craft, I gotta say, is amazing. And overall, I will continue saying nice. It's just absolutely nice to see. And supporting music in 2026, I love it. Now that I've got that out of the way, just again quickly mentioning that, I wanted to touch upon my last trip. I mentioned it in my last episode. I went on a trip to Edmonton with my buddy Logan. Shout out to you, man. Love ya. Thanks for coming along. But we went to see the Goo Goo Dolls alongside Dashboard Confessional. So it was awesome. Short story. Long story short, it was very awesome. I had an amazing time. We ended up going in the worst weather conditions, worst absolute weather conditions. It was like a blizzard out there. Instead of the regular like 4.5 hours, it took closer to 6, maybe 7 hours. It was absolutely insanity. Blizzard, roads were icy. There was literally at least 1.5 feet of snow in the passing lane. Like, it wasn't the best conditions, let me just say that. And it's funny because the next day was absolutely night and day difference. Literally driving home after that show, completely clear roads, completely clear outside aside from being overcast, but you could see, like, absolutely night and day difference. But I'm glad that we went. I'm glad that my car and I was able to push through it. Logan was there just for the ride, of course, but it was nice to actually see a band that I didn't expect to fully see. As I was building up to the actual day of the show, I constantly questioned, should I be going? Do I deserve to go to this? Like, is it really the best decision that I could make? And I'm glad and happy to say that all of that doubt was definitely unnecessary. It was most certainly worth it. It was most certainly a great time. And to see the Goo Goo Dolls just at least once, like, they're a legendary act. I know that they're considered quite old nowadays, like they were big in the 90s, obviously, and early 2000s, so, you know, they're definitely past their prime, but that does not mean that they can't put on a good show. They put on a very good show, and honestly, maybe slightly my bias, but they're still releasing good music. Might not be as high quality as something like Iris, or have such staying power and longevity as Iris has, since it is one of their older songs. I will say they've still got it, though. They've got the energy, they've got the passion, and it's crazy to say that for a band that has been in the game this long. It's very inspiring. They have a reason and a voice. They love being up there, and you can see it through and through every single performance that I have gotten to see. I can't say that for every performance now that I think about it. I do remember Crystal, shout out to you, hello, if you're listening, but I remember her telling me that it's kind of hit or miss with the Goo Goo Dolls. Sometimes they put on bad performances, and it's very unfortunate. So I don't know if they're known for that by any means. If they are, let me know in the comments below. And while you're there, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I appreciate it tons. But as for the Goo Goo Dolls, for what I know of them, for what I seen during my show, they absolutely killed it. To be a part of the crowd for every song they sung, especially Iris, obviously, that is the biggest one everyone knows. It was lovely. Absolutely lovely. And to touch on Dashboard Confessional, like, they are a band that just screams whiny emo. And I mean that in the best way, because I adore shit like that. When it comes to the whiny emo kind of sound, kind of just the way they sound, if you've heard Dashboard, or if you haven't, think like Mayday Parade, American Football, like that kind of whiny-ish emo. And again, I mean that in a nice way. Please don't think I'm saying it in a mean way by any sense, but I love that shit. I live for it. And the fact that I was able to see Dashboard for the second time, because I was able to see them back when we were Youngfest, like 2021, whenever it started. If it wasn't 2021, it was 2022, the first year. And they put on a better show this time around. Maybe it's because it was just in a, closed space and their sound wasn't going everywhere, but I really found myself enjoying it a lot more this time around. And I mean, they played their Spider-Man song, Vindicated, so can I really be upset? Still no As Lovers Go. If anyone knows, As Lovers Go is their song from the Shrek 2 soundtrack. The goated soundtrack, best of all time, in my opinion. And they unfortunately did not play it. I will still be holding hope that one day I'll be able to hear that song live. It's one of my favorites from the soundtrack, and definitely my favorite Dashboard song in general. But overall, even though that they didn't play it, I really, really enjoyed their performance. And as Logan even said, he actually enjoyed Dashboard a little more than the Goo Goo Dolls. So sometimes the headliner isn't always the best performance. It's really up to the person watching the show, experiencing the music and what it means to them particularly. So overall, an amazing show. Was able to get a shirt from Goo Goo Dolls and Dashboard Confessional. Love them both, more so the Dashboard shirt, but the Goo Goo Dolls have to have a tour date shirt, right? You go to a show, that's just something that you kind of have to do, or at least in my mind, you should, just for memory's sake, if anything else. But an amazing time. We made it back in one piece and back to regular life. But I will say that I'm very excited to see the next show that I've got planned. Like, I know not to overshadow the Goo Goo Dolls, because again, amazing time seeing both those bands. But my next show coming up is actually for my birthday. And that's going to be on April 18th, which is also a ton of other days. Literally Record Store Day, the playoffs for hockey start, amongst God knows what else, my own birthday. There's a few other things as well happening that very day. And I'm going to be in Minneapolis to see Hayley Williams perform live. Her solo performance, she just started her tour not too long ago as we speak, or as of recording this. And it's really exciting. Like, Hayley Williams, lead singer of Paramore. She has her solo project, for those that don't know, though if you're living under a rock, maybe you wouldn't know. I feel like she's kind of proven herself at this point as just a musician, as a legendary act, and yes, her solo stuff isn't necessarily everyone's cup of tea, but her newest album, I mean, it was nominated for a Grammy. She's done many amazing songs in the past. My favorite album of hers being Flowers for Vases, her second solo work, and granted, that one did help me through a lot, as I say with a lot of artists, but that one specifically, it really spoke to me, and I wish she could have won awards for that album, but at the time it came out, kind of post-COVID world, very early into that. I understand why, and it was very personal, very, very deep kind of cut. You can tell she released that because she was healing herself. So all that aside, though, I'm going to be seeing her in a couple weeks when it is my birthday. I'm going to be another year older. I would love to hear people's guesses down below, just based off my voice, I guess. If I haven't already said what age I would be, try to guess. If you do, I'll be sure to, let you know you guessed it right. But Hayley Williams, that's going to be a wicked show, something to look forward to amongst everything else. I'm going to be going down to Minneapolis. Crystal's going to meet me there for the show, and it's going to be a hell of a time, and I'm really excited for it. Not so excited for, the travel aspect of it, but I'm more excited to just be there in the moment and experience all I can. And not to mention the playoffs going on at the exact same time, or at least starting that same day. I'm going to be able to watch my boys, the Oilers. Hopefully they can pull through and do better than they did the last 2 years, though the only way they could do better is fully winning the Stanley Cup, which, whether or not that will happen, is yet to be determined. I really don't know. I want to be hopeful, but in my mind and in my eyes, their team this year just isn't as great. And I don't mean that in a bad way necessarily, but it just kind of is what it is. Just from watching them play and their kind of points over this whole year, the struggles that they've faced and the adversity. I know that they're always kind of the underdogs. They always kind of come back up when you least expect them to. That's just kind of the Oiler way, it seems, but really hoping that they can pull through and make the most of it, because that's something I'm going to be banking on. And if they somehow can't, if, all worse comes to worse, at least the Blue Jays have finally started and I'll be able to watch them a little bit. They have honestly been on an absolute heater lately. First 3 games in the books, won all 3, which is only the 3rd time in the 50 years as a team that they've been able to do so, which is absolutely insane, to be honest. The fact that they've been around as an organization for 50 years, and this is the 3rd time. And possibly, if they, continue pulling out the wins, they very well might make history with having one of the best starts that they've ever had. So, fingers crossed, not going to count those eggs before they hatch, but fingers crossed that they do great, and obviously everything in the world of sports is going swimmingly. I'm very excited to see how it goes alongside the actual Hayley Williams show. Now to talk about something that actually just passed, an anniversary that just passed. Kingdom Hearts has turned 24 years old. Now, those that don't know, Kingdom Hearts, just high level, it's a video game series. It's my favorite of all time. There's very little, if anything, that comes as close to Kingdom Hearts in terms of like what it means to me. And really the only thing that is as close as that is music, most specifically Black Veil, 21 Pilots, NF, like my favorite, the top of the top, as well as Steven Universe. So truthfully, Kingdom Hearts, it means a lot to me. It's been in my life longer than it hasn't been. And it's something that I personally have a very deep connection with. And to hear that it is 24 years old definitely makes me feel a lot of things, but definitely nostalgic. Happy that it's gotten this far on and is still continuously making games. Granted, I say that with an asterisk because it's been a while since we've seen anything Kingdom Hearts related. Obviously, they've been on quite the long hiatus. There was supposed to be a mobile game that kind of filled in this waiting time that we've had for Kingdom Hearts 4. It got canceled, originally delayed, and then canceled. And unfortunately, that is just the way that things work sometimes, and you just got to take it and run with it. Hopefully it's for the best. And granted, we're still in the waiting phase, but the fact that it is now 24 years old as a series is crazy, because in the 20th anniversary, we got the first ever Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, and we still have yet to see anything of the game. Aside from that, and I know we got some screenshots a bit ago, but it was literally just damage control for the fact Missing Link, the mobile game, was canceled, so it can't really count that. I mean, you can if you want to make it hurt a little less, but truthfully, it has been a long time since we've really seen anything from Kingdom Hearts, let alone Kingdom Hearts 4, and to think that we are finally on the incline for that dry spell, like we might actually finally get some news, because Nomura himself, he made some new artwork. And granted, the new artwork isn't anything to do with Kingdom Hearts 4 directly, but I do believe it has a little bit of a hint, a little bit of a tidbit, if you will, for a certain character to return in Kingdom Hearts 4, at least in the future of the series. And the reason I say that is because the artwork itself is young Xehanort with his back to us. We see the back of young Xehanort holding an umbrella, looking off into the distance, into the sky. Very, very pretty artwork. There's purple kind of running through the sky, and there's some flowers next to him as well, which I will touch on because they seem to be quite important. But the actual post itself, it said, March 28th marked the 24th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts. Thank you for all the celebrations from everyone. A message of gratitude has arrived from the director, saying, "We are working hard towards the 25th anniversary. Thank you for your support." Now, I know that isn't much. It is all that the post actually says, but again, artwork is fantastic. I very much love it. And the fact that he released it is great, because people were starting to believe that maybe they actually just forgot. Maybe Kingdom Hearts is worse off than we actually thought, but that is not the case. They did mention the 25th anniversary, at least Nomura did, and somebody actually broke down the fact that there's flowers in it, and these flowers themselves are hydrangeas. Sorry, apologies, hard for me to say that, but hydrangea flowers. And somebody actually explained it on Twitter here. I'll shout out Verum King on Twitter. He said, "One such example is blue hydrangeas, which have come to represent gratitude and apology. There is a myth in Japan that tells the tale of an emperor who, having angered a woman he loved deeply due to his neglect of her in favor of his work, gifted her with a bunch of blue hydrangeas as a symbol of his deep emotions and gratitude towards her. In some Asian cultures, to gift a bunch of blue hydrangeas, which are what is in the photo, to another is to say that you consider them to be as important to you as the beat of your own heart." So it's a way for him to, once again, show forgiveness in that sense, because he knows, obviously, that the Kingdom Hearts fandom has been struggling. Like, yes, we have been filling our time with just user-created content, but for actual games and actual news, it has been the driest spell we have ever faced. And I believe Nomura knows that. He's recognizing that and gifting us those flowers, in a sense, alongside the photo, to just be like, hey, we're sorry, but again, 25th anniversary, we're cooking. So that means we've got a year. I know it's still a long ways away at this point, but we've got a year to hopefully be prepared and wait for that 25th anniversary, which will, fingers crossed, be a Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, if not the game itself. I think that's a little bit too much to hope for, to be honest, but you never know. There's always a chance, as these flowers themselves, they do usually bloom in June or July, which is also the same time as Summer Games Fest. A fest that usually, shows off games, maybe not necessarily such big announcements as like the Game Awards, but still done by Jeff, the same guy that hosts the Game Awards and is the kind of mastermind behind that. So there's a chance that we might get something in the summer. Not going to expect that. I'm more so taking the flowers, meaning that he's sorry and he understands and appreciates us all the same as a community. So amazing artwork. I just needed to touch upon that. And I do believe that this photo itself, being young Master Xehanort, I do believe that he's going to be waiting in Quadratum for that 14th lifetime. If you know Kingdom Hearts, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to dive too much into it because of spoiler territory. Maybe one day I will when Kingdom Hearts gets a little bit closer, or if anyone here is interested in it, let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, Kingdom Hearts, it seems like we've only got at least one more year to wait for something big. Hopefully sooner, but 25th anniversary seems like it is going to be bringing some big things. So happy birthday to Kingdom Hearts. Now that I've been talking about Kingdom Hearts, obviously one of my other favorite things I gotta mention because it's still quite new, Black Veil Brides, their newest single, Vindicate. Yes, it has been out for at least a week, if not a little bit longer at this point, and amazing song. I've still been having it on repeat, aside from the Goo Goo Dolls, Dashboard Confessional, and Matchbox 20 listening I've been doing lately. I've still had Vindicate on here and there, just thrown in as much as I want. And it has been, literally the life. It's been giving me life. I very much like the fact that I adore it so much. I like what they're doing. I very, very much vibe with everything that they're doing with this coming record. And it makes me incredibly excited, as I've said time and time again. I'm very excited for this album, and I wanted to touch on a comment that I got from Chris. Shout out to you, man. Hope you're doing well. But I wanted to respond to your comment here on my last episode, where you mentioned something about Cut featuring Lilith Czar, and I'll just go on to read it here verbatim. It says, Cut might be the most memorable track on the entire album. Lilith/Juliet has been credited on several Andy Black songs, which I know that they did their cover of When We Were Young. I do know that one. I'll have to look in the credits of other songs, though, because I'm not completely certain. I believe she had a hand in The Void, if I'm not mistaken. I know it was something from that first solo album, though. Regardless, for those that don't know, little deep cut here to kind of sidetrack, sorry. Speaking of The Void, if anyone has the Record Store Day release, the only release on vinyl for the Shadow Side, and you listen to The Void, well, at the end where it kind of echoes the void, in the vinyl version of it, it's a choir of children instead of just what you hear on streaming or on even the CD. So just throwing that out there, anyone interested, let me know. I'll definitely post a little clip of it because the first time I heard it, my mind was blown. But besides the point, I would love to know why that happened. Chris, if you know, please let me know. But besides the point, to go on with the comment, he says, and on BVB's Lost It All. Just in my opinion, but ink is not heavier than BVB. Breakdowns do not equate to heaviness. Finally, good on you, my friend, for playing BVB in your record store. You are a real one for sure. Thank you for thinking so, Chris. I appreciate it very much. And as for me saying ink is heavier than Black Veil, I very much like your take on that. And it did make me reconsider. Ink, yes, they are heavy, but it is definitely in a different way. A different font, if you will. And Black Veil, I mean, this album that they've been doing, definitely heavier than Ink in many ways. Many, many ways. And I just gotta say, I respect both bands, though I do appreciate and respect Black Veil a whole lot more. They don't really seem to be as money hungry or, I don't know. I don't mean to shit on anyone. I don't mean to talk down to any band either. Just from the outside looking in, looking at Ink and what they're doing, just constant deals, with movies and stuff. It's cool. It used to come off as genuine. It's starting to feel less and less, especially with their whole AI kind of thing they're going with. If you know their storyline, you know what I'm talking about. But I personally am not the biggest fan of them. I liked their music, at least for the first two albums that they did about horror music. But other than that, I haven't really been vibing with them as of late. The last song I really liked was Art of Dying for Terrifier 3, and since then, I really could care less. So, not to shit on Ink by any means, just my opinion, but I appreciated your comment, and honestly, I am very excited for Cut. I am very excited for the song Revenger, the one that they're doing with Machine Head, if that's the name. And alongside that, just the whole album. Like, truthfully, yes, I'm the least excited for the features, but the fact you say Cut is one of the best, and at least one of your favorite, I gotta say, like, that makes me more excited, more than I already was. But I'm just kind of cautiously optimistic, because again, Black Veil hasn't done many features that are straight up features, where it says Black Veil Brides featuring so-and-so. And that's the only thing I mean when it comes to their base albums. So never meant to throw any shade. If it came off that way, I do apologize. I do love Lilith Czar and her music, at least that first album. And it was awesome to actually see her. Like, I got to meet her when I was waiting in line for the VIP. She walked by, gave her a wave, and she played live that same very night on the Trinity of Terror tour. So it's wicked that I was actually able to see her. Definitely very cool. And I am curious to see how this kind of leads her, like where this leads her. If she's going to be featured on Black Veil's song, hasn't released a new album in quite a while, I'm very excited, to see where this song kind of takes her off. If the Black Veil fandom, obviously most should know who she is, being Andy's wife, but to just see where this song might take her alongside maybe a future tour with Black Veil, that would be awesome. Just hint, hint, come to Canada together. That would be great. But all that considered, I am excited not just for Black Veil, but to see where Lilith goes, because I do know she's a very talented artist from her work as Juliet Sims and now as Lilith Czar. It's all very exciting, and I hope the best. Let me just say that. Now, to kind of also mention another comment I got, Andy, he commented on my podcast, at least on a comment I left on his post about Vindicate when it first came out. I missed it originally, or else I would have talked about it last week, but he just kind of mentioned that, hey, to keep on doing what I'm doing, and he actually listened to the podcast in one way or another. And that really, I know it's kind of me talking, just kind of yapping about it, but it means a lot. It really does, for somebody that I have looked up to and honestly was the basis of inspiration for me to get into music as heavily as I have. And even if it's talking about it, trying to create it, wanting to create it, and give back the same way that he did to me with his music, alongside his Andy Black stuff and Black Veil, it means a lot. And that goes to CC liking my posts and sharing and whatever, what have you. Like, when you're noticed by an artist that you look up to, especially as somebody that, has had their music be such a massive influence, it really means a lot. And I just needed to touch on that. And that's all I really have to say about it. A just massive thank you, because it does mean a lot. I'm sure it took a few seconds to write that comment out, but it means a lot and definitely made my day. Now, alongside that, I do want to congratulate Cassidy Downs, her new Black Veil podcast. I believe it's called Legion. Great to see. Great to see that now exists. Congratulations to you for starting that. I hope it goes well. I'll definitely be checking out the episodes here and there, whether or not you're listening. Just, again, if anyone wants to hear a Black Veil podcast, that one does exist, alongside the original, the OGs, if you will, Black Veil Brides Heart to Hearts podcast. I actually just recently got in contact with them, not too long ago, so very recent. Don't expect anything too soon, but I am hopefully looking forward to making an appearance on their podcast and hell, even having them over here to yap and chat. I would love to have some Black Veil conversations. And if anyone wants more Black Veil content in terms of podcasts, definitely go check theirs out because they know what they're doing. They're having fun with it. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the BVB Hearts to Hearts has actually been around for, it was either 2 years or 4 years. Don't know exactly off the top of my head, my apologies, but they just had their anniversary not too long ago, so go show them some love. Great people from what I've seen. I haven't talked to them quite a lot yet, but from what they put out there, they seem like very, very honest and just great people. So go give them some support if you're able to, especially if you are a Black Veil fan. So apart from Vindicate being an amazing single and leading up to the eventual album release for Vindicate come May 8th, which is around the corner, we also got the brand new Boogeyman poster. For those that don't know, I did mention it a couple episodes ago. Boogeyman by Joshua Schultz. It is starring Juliet Sims and Andy Bierzak, their newest movie together. First time, I believe they're actually starring in a movie together. I know they did Paradise City together. They didn't have many scenes, if any, together, though, in the show. But for a full-length, proper movie, I believe this might be the first. And to go on saying that, the poster itself looked amazing. If you want to see it, go check it out. It's on Joshua Schultz Instagram and other socials as well, I believe Twitter. Go check it out. Go give it some support. I'm very excited for that movie. It's going to be a horror movie, if you couldn't tell from the name Boogeyman. And it's something that's very exciting to just, again, see some more stuff. Not just from Joshua Schultz, who also, again, does the photography for Black Veil, at least the majority of it. And also the making of documentary that is going to exist for this upcoming album, Vindicate. So go give them some support. Very excited for it. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out alongside the trailer because it's probably the movie I'm looking forward to the most in terms of like independent releases this year. I know that I already seen Iron Lung by Markiplier this year, and that might very well be my number one for independent films. But Boogeyman, it has some time to cook. I don't know when it's coming out quite yet, and if that has been announced, I will be sure to reference it next episode and let you know, but it is something to be excited for alongside everything else. Now, for those of you wanting to do something April 21st, well, if you like Noah Khan, make sure you keep your calendar open because on that day, they are doing a early listening party at record stores all across the Americas, USA, some in Canada, as well as UK, Australia, Finland, Ireland, the list goes on. There isn't many outside of the US, but all that being said, if you're interested, go check it out at ConHQ on Twitter. They posted about it if you're curious, and it's just a way to listen to the album in full ahead of its release. You receive a free exclusive poster while the supplies last, obviously. Enter to win exclusive The Great Divide tote bags, and also you can pre-order your physical copy of The Great Divide while you're there listening to it. So any fans that are able to attend, if there's a local record store in your area doing it that is on this list that they posted, definitely go give some support, not only to Noah Khan by listening and being there, but to your local record store, because you going in there, buying things from them while you're listening to the album itself, pre-ordering the album from them directly, it helps them out, and it's supporting a local business, and that is the biggest thing. You want to support your local record stores. You don't want to see them going down, because when that happens, it gets taken over by corporations and we get more Target. You know what I mean? Like more Targets and more Sunrise Records. And I know I work there, but they're still a corporation, and some are better than others, mind you, but you got to help and support your independent record stores while you can. And if it is on this list, you're a fan of Noah Khan, I would highly recommend trying to take the time out of your day. Yes, life is busy, but try your best and go experience it. Because my first time ever experiencing an early listening party for an album was with 21 Pilots and Breach. I was able to go to one of the local stores down in Chicago, or more certainly Aurora. I believe it was Jumbo Records, if I'm not mistaken. And it was an amazing time. Like, truthfully, an amazing time. I know it might not be necessarily the kind of music, especially for Noah Kahan, that you'd maybe want to listen to for the first time around a group of people, but you have to remember that group of people probably loves Noah Kahan all the same as you do, and they're going to feel the same awkwardness and stuff the way that you do, because a lot of his music means a lot to people. And I know that is kind of the emotions I felt with 21 Pilots, and I just kind of want to share my experience to say it's okay. It is okay to go and do these things. It might be a little uncomfortable at first, but you'll realize everyone else is there for similar, if not the same reason. So go and have fun. Go experience it, and trust me, it is a memory that will stick with you probably forever, to be honest. It will be one of the highlights of that record release. So try not to miss out if you're interested. And other than that, all I really have left to say is there's some upcoming trailers that are releasing tomorrow. For those that are listening as of Tuesday, that is when these trailers release. We're getting Supergirl, The Backrooms, Masters of the Universe, all 3 trailers, and also Avatar The Last Airbender Season 2, the Netflix version, if you will, the Season 2 of it. We're getting the release date reveal, finally. So, great things coming up for movies, but as for music, I can't really necessarily speak on all of the new releases coming because oh my god, there are a ton of them. But as for music that has come out over the past week, I gotta highlight them here, being 30 Seconds to Mars, A Beautiful Lie, the 20th anniversary edition, 20 years old, wild, that has finally dropped, as well as Fastlane by Scatterbrain, which is Brian Birkenheiser, the ex-I Prevail vocalist, his solo stuff. It is out now. New song from him is great. Dark Divine, Half Past Dead, Unbury Me, their newest single from their upcoming album, Undead Melody, releases May 28th, 2026, very soon. And also Eva Under Fire with Maria Brink from In This Moment. They released a new song, Villainous. Love Eva Under Fire. Have not yet heard this, but I'm excited to check it out. And then we also got Bring Me the Horizon, Doomed, live in Sao Paulo, from their newest concert movie that just literally finished its theatrical run. I believe it was only in theaters for like a day, maybe 2. But for those that missed out, they are selling tickets for a home viewing experience. I believe April 10th is when that happens. And if you're curious, you love Bring Me the Horizon, you couldn't go to any of the showings because it didn't come to a theater near you like I experience all the time, there is still a way for you to experience it. So go check that out if you're interested. And other than that, there's been a lot of things hitting its anniversaries. I could go on, but I'd probably be here forever. So I mentioned Kingdom Hearts, and I'll mention one more, being Meet the Robinsons. It's a Disney movie that touches my heart, means a lot to me. I seen it when I was little, and it turned 19 years old. So it's almost 20, and we're actually nearing, I believe, 11 years away from the future that takes place in Meet the Robinsons. So don't believe we're going to have flying cars and bowler hats that try to take over the world, but who knows where we'll be in 11 years. God only knows. Anyways, there are more things I could mention, but I'll wrap it up here and say thank you so much for listening. It really means a lot. Again, feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. It means a lot to me as well. And most of all, thank you for discovering the music within.